Hey guys, d0ntblink 97 coming back here with some World of Warships gameplay. Yes, this is not World of Tanks, this is World of Warships.
So well played to that
and today
Mutsuki
we're
there.
going to be playing in the beautiful Tier 5 American battleship, the New York class. Or, no, it's just called the New York, not the New York class. Now, honestly, I really do like this battleship. The range on it is a little short compared to the Congo, because the Congo, for some reason, at Tier 5 can shoot it over, I think, 20 kilometers, whereas this is stuck in the 15.5 range. So, as a long-range brawler, this really isn't it, but American battleships, until Tier 8, really do not have good range, so they're more of close-range fighting, and they do excel at that. They do have some pretty big firepower. This tank houses 10 356 millimeter guns that, if I'm not mistaken, with an AP shell can roll for around 10,000 damage, and I have 10 of them. Now, the battleship itself has about 50,000 health, so at Tier 5, this thing can take a hell of a beating. However, if you do find yourself in front of some Tier 5 Japanese destroyers or cruisers, or American destroyers, and they launch torps at you, you will quickly find yourself without health. This thing is not as maneuverable as some of the other American BBs, but it is pretty maneuverable for a battleship in general. You can dodge. Now, at the beginning of this game, because this is a slower paced game than World of Tanks, the beginning of this game really is not too exciting, so I guess for now I'll just talk about the channel. Now for the channel, I'm taking, I'm not exactly taking a siesta from World of Tanks, but I'm not playing it as much as I have been, and that's just because I'm a little burnt out on it, but not to worry, still going to be consistent World of Tanks content. I'll probably never stop posting that game, but just some things for the future. Obviously, World of Warships, I want to start posting maybe 1 or 2 videos of this a week, along with maybe 1 or 2 videos of World of Tanks, just depending on how much school takes up and work. Forza 6 is coming out. I'm a used car guy, so Forza 6 coming out means I'll definitely be streaming and posting some videos of that. Also, Black Ops 3 is coming out. I might get it, but I think I'm going to play a demo or something before I get it to see if I actually like it. And there's just a lot of good games coming out, and then Destiny, which is a game I'm really burnt out on, haven't played for months. Apparently the Taken King is basically going to finish the game and make it the game it should have been, so I'm excited about that. Basically, this gaming season we have a lot of good games to choose from, so I'll definitely be expanding the channel a little bit. Maybe streaming some more games and stuff like that. But here, we're about to start engaging our first target, which I believe is an Omaha, who seems to be steaming towards us. Yep, there he is, I see him. Now, as I said, the New York only has a 15.5 kilometer range, which may seem like a lot for a Tier 5, but you gotta remember the Congo, Tier 5 Japanese battleship, has over 20 kilometers range, which is just ludicrous. And we land absolutely none of those shells on the Omaha. And we're just trying to run away now, because if you look at the map, there's about 4 to 5 enemies in front of us, and all there is with us is just me and one other. The last thing I want to do is get caught out in a bad position with a bunch of people that are supporting that battleship, all just shooting at me. It has a lot of health, but its armor profile, it seems like it can be penetrated by battleships pretty easily. No, not too many Citadel penetrations by battleships, but you know, a lot of moderate and heavy damage hits of 3 to 5,000. And if there's a enemy in New York shooting at you and he moderate damages you with 6 shells, you could be out a lot of health, 15,000, and you might as well just go ahead. So me and this Omaha are running away. I'm lucky the Omaha is smart and he realized the same thing I did, that hey, we're not going to lose. So let's just book it and get out. That's exactly what we're doing. get our first shots off on what I believe was a St. Louis. Yes, it is a tier 3 cruiser. He's actually very deadly even to me at tier 5. He's just a gun. He could just constantly set me on fire if you really wanted to, but he'd have to get close enough. New York isn't exactly a slow battleship, top speed of 20-ish knots, but it's definitely no speed king. Unlike the Japanese battleships, which at tier 5 the Congo does 30 kilometers an hour, so compared to the Japanese battleships, take some shots there at what I believe is a Wyoming, and looks like we got a few hits there, but no damage. Looks like he might have just skimmed the side of his armor. Tomahawk's taking fire from the flank. Now we're going to try to in Wyoming. We're hoping to get some pretty juicy hits on this guy because the Wyoming has smaller guns than me, 300 and, if I'm not mistaken, 5 or 6 millimeter guns. However, he has 12 of them. It doesn't have some damage on this guy. Fire off another salvo at him, hoping to get some good hits. And we land some pretty meaty hits, just tipping the 10,000 damage marker as we hit a few of our shots. And that's what I mean, you know, even if you don't get Citadel hits, this thing can still hit for 3,000 for a moderate damage hit. And, you know, if 3 or 4 of those hit, it pretty much equals 1 Citadel. So New York definitely is a fun little battleship. Take some blind shots at the St. Louis, and we end up hitting them. Now, I will say, with this game, if you guys want to be good at this game, it pretty much has the same underlying details of World of Tanks. The main thing being situational awareness. You have to be aware of the map. If I wouldn't have turned around with this Omaha, I'd be dead right now. I would have gotten overran. And another thing is, when you're, for instance, that cruiser right there, you got to realize that just anything, you're in a destroyer, a cruiser, whatever it may be, shooting your guns drastically gets rid of your camo. I mean, it will knock off 50% of your camo rating. So, you know, if you've got a bunch of tanks, tank ships in front of you that could really put some damage into you, but you just want to take that one lucky shot, definitely hold back on that urge. Get out, stick with your team. This is a game where you really have to rely on teammates more, which means I'm not saying you have to all lend in together, by no means, but you all have to stay within each other's sort of range. So maybe within 10 to 15 kilometers of each other. And if your team goes down one side of the map and you're like, oh, I'll just go on the other side and try and hold it. Nope, don't do that. Hang out in the back of the pack so that you can go back and defend wherever it may be, or either go with the pack and push, but definitely don't be that guy who goes and defends himself. So we unlock some shots on the St. Louis, get some pretty good hits on him. In hindsight, I should have been firing HE at some of these guys at long ranges, because if when the HE hits at long range, it's at a good trajectory. And while I could be hoping for some Citadel penetrations, my shells, I'm pretty sure, will just over-penetrate a tier 3 cruiser, even though the St. Louis is pretty long. Let's see our enemy counterpart, the enemy New York. And as I said, our range isn't fantastic for a battleship, but he is just within our range, so we're going to try to take some very long-range shots at him. We empty out our salvo, and it looks like he slows down a little bit, which actually ends up saving him. I get a few hits, but no damaging hits, just, you know, scraping the front of his bow. And once again, I'm trying to extend the range on these guys. The last thing you want in battleships is for cruisers to be within range to shoot you with HE, because they will just HE spam you, and you'll get to start fire constantly. It's sort of like when you're in a heavy tank, more of tanks, and you have mediums constantly pegging at your health, thermographic. We've got some fighters overhead heading towards our boat. Managed to shoot down one of the planes, but at low tiers, your battleships really aren't equipped that good of AA, even if it seems like they're good. Nothing really too fantastic. But we do manage to shoot down a few planes. It's really not until you get up to tier 6 and higher is when the cruisers and battleships really start getting some good anti-aircraft fire. So So we're gonna keep trundling along. The enemy of Wyoming is getting closer to us now. He's getting within our range. And yep, there's his shots. Luckily, all of them miss. But I know he's coming around this mountain. Yep, there he is. So let's see how many AP shells we can land on him. Comes out around. We empty our salvo. All 10 rounds flying right towards him. And this looks like it's gonna be a pretty good salvo. And yes, we got a few hits. We knocked out, I think we knocked out a main turret. So, a pretty good salvo. But because we have such high caliber guns for tier 5, our reload is 37 seconds, whereas on a Wyoming, it's about 30-ish seconds without equipment. I actually have equipment on this tank. I keep saying tank, ship. And even then, the reload is still 37 seconds. Island gets in the way. Hoping to see if a few of these land some good hits. Maybe a Citadel pen, who knows. And definitely some good hits, maybe like 7,000 to 9,000. And we're trying to avoid these shells. As you can see, they are penetrating very easily. As I said, the New York really can't. It has a lot of health, but its armor isn't too good. So I see my health has gone down 10 to 15,000, so I'll go ahead and drop my first damage repair ability just to get my health back up there. Fires at us again with his fire guns. So we empty out a whole nother salvo, another 10 rounds. Those are looking pretty promising. And a good result, but I think I need to experiment a little bit with firing HE at long ranges because I feel like I could do more consistent damage and not get done. However, when it comes to close range engagement with battleships and stuff like that, I feel like maybe some AP rounds would be better, but I'm not 100% certain because I'm still learning this game too. I'm at tier 5 on the American battleship line and the cruiser line, and I'm at tier 4 with the Japanese. So we see at New York, and we decide to open up on them, seeing if these shells will maybe hit. Got a few hits, not too much damage. I'm looking at the Wyoming. I'm slowing down a little bit because I really want to try to kill this New York because he's more of a big threat than the Wyoming. But the Wyoming is more targeted toward me, so I gotta watch out for him. I don't want to get, salvoed in the side and maybe get Citadel pen. So we're nearly reloaded, and that's when the Wyoming opens up on us and misses most of his shots because we slowed down. So I'm going to go ahead and put her back into full speed, get all my gun turrets turned, and we're going to go ahead and empty out the salvo. Fired 8 of our 10 guns there. See if we can land some good hits on them. I really need my team to kill this guy so that I can focus on the New York. We get some pretty good damaging hits on him. And I am worried about that New York. The last thing I want is that New York and the Wyoming to be opening up on me. Getting focus fired by 2 battleships. He's starting to turn in a little bit, so I'm going to start turning in too. I think what he's trying to do here is he's trying to close the range in between us so that maybe he can be more accurate with his shots and try to damage him as much as possible. Because he knows that we're about as fast as each other and I have bigger guns, so he really can't run away from me. Fires out some more salvos and he's going right towards me. He gets some pretty good hits on me and his position now. It's kind of hard for me to hit him because like he's facing me straight on, so it's kind of difficult to shoot tanks like that straight on. So I'm going to go ahead and turn, get 4 of my main batteries pointed at him, just see if we can damage him. Our 2 destroyers are trying to take care of the enemy aircraft carrier and the battleship. I need to take care of this guy before my team falls. We narrowly missed him there. He's on such low health right now. And of course the other salvo just goes the other direction. So what I do is I load some HE, and those are I think those are my secondary batteries. About to start going in. Yep, I press control and put the select fire on them so that my secondary batteries focus on them. It's a good penetrating shot to it. I have HE loaded because whenever I empty this next salvo, I basically want to guarantee that he'll die. Last thing I want is some AP over penetrations that do nothing. So he's turning in, I'm turning in, we're getting ready to shoot each other with more of our main batteries. My secondaries are opening up. Gotta get these shots aimed in, gotta reload, don't want to take another shot from this guy. Reload, bounce our HE in sort of way, so we take him out. We took a lot of damage from him though. Basically, all the health we regained back from our damage control ability just got lost again. I see the enemy New York is there, and I see my friendly New York is there, so I'm thinking, you know, we might as well just go pincer this guy. I think this will be the best choice, and that was my mistake in this game. This is where this game goes really, really bad for something that I should have known and I should have seen, and it's my fault completely. I'm not paying attention to the map, and this happens all the time in this game, and World of Tanks. I have a torpedo squadron coming up on my starboard side. My AA guns are opening up, and that's when I realize it's there. I start turning the ship immediately, and I'm about to cut my speed completely so that the ship sort of hard turns. And this battleship and their aircraft carriers worked in perfect unison. I turned off to avoid the salvo. I missed, three of them, and that down to like 10,000 health. And I know I'm pretty much dead right now. This is New York. I know in this range, I take 8 rounds of it. I could have saved myself by turning off before then and sitting closer to my friendly New York who had more health, and I should have used him as more of a meat shield, and I should have supported him. But just as in World of Tanks, tunnel vision is very, very deadly in this game. You will be constantly killed like that by, you know, destroyers with torpedoes, aircraft carrier bombers, torpedo bombers, whatever it may be. In this game, you will be killed by them a lot if you do what I just did, which was totally tunnel vision, not look at my surroundings, and got absolutely nuked. So that's pretty much how my game went. So now, we have full health New York. He has stock, however, but he still has the, you know, the 356mm guns, and he's at a range where it doesn't really matter. So I'm really thinking, you know, I'm pretty confident this guy will take this guy out, and I know our Omaha will take out their aircraft. I mean, the Omaha has plenty of guns, a lot of rate of fire, and has torpedoes if you get close enough, so I'm confident about that. But as it goes, I'm starting to get a little worried about this guy, because if you notice, he's not putting too much of effective fire into this New York, because for one reason, the enemy New York is smarter than this guy. The enemy New York has turned in so that his ship is a very small target and is very hard to penetrate with AP. Because obviously shooting at the front of a battleship, you know, it's curved, and the odds are you're just gonna bounce off either side or really not do anything. And I'm looking at our aircraft carrier because I'm starting to realize this guy, I'm pretty sure will kill this New York. So, working with the aircraft carrier, chipping off large great ship, so I'm pretty glad he was aircraft carrier. But I am still worried about that New York, because I as he might be a good ship, but he doesn't have any experience in any other ships. The Omaha's nearly finished off the aircraft carrier. He's just been destroying him with his guns. And there we go, he is down. So now the Omaha's turning in to go help our stock New York friend to take out the enemy New York. But if you keep an eye on the timer, you'll notice we're kind of running out of time, and that's when this happens. Our New York narrowly avoids the salvo, but that's also his biggest mistake. He should have taken the torpedo and he got his main batteries towards this guy. If you notice, we're about to run out of time. That was my game in the Tier 5 American battleship New York. It ended in a draw. We made 100,000 credits though. Got 770 XP. I do not run a premium account. Finished third on XP on our team. And we did over 70,000 damage, which is pretty good for New York. It's, you know, not a monster game, but definitely a good game. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving it a like rating below. It really helps the channel out. And hopefully you guys enjoy World of Warships, because I will be posting more of it. And definitely if you do or if you don't, tell me why. You know, give me some feedback. I'm definitely open to all y'all suggestions and comments. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe for more, and Don't Blink 97 is out. Peace.